This conference will now be recorded.
మన అప్లికేషన్ ఏంటి 620 21, right? 620 rule relation. Okay, the students who have connected online, am I audible? Can someone please confirm?
Yes, sir.
Yes, you are.
Okay, thank you for confirmation. Okay, let's go ahead and start in a minute. So last class we were discussing about creating operators, access group, and portal. Portal also gets created automatically. And we created manager access group. Portal you create from channels. After you create portal, you can add navigation items into it if you want additional things apart from default ones. And then you can create persona. Persona is access group, and you create operator. After these three are done, you need to link which operator, like which access group should have which portal and which operators. Okay. Okay, so here you go now. Let's talk about the next topic, role resolution algorithm. See, role resolution algorithm is something which is a fundamental architecture of Pega. Suppose in Pega rules process command and environment, when I execute a flow or case type, when you run anything, okay, as part of your execution, this is called as requesting. A requester has logged in and he has made a transaction. As part of transaction execution, a request has been made for a case type flow action, for case type flow actions, sections, activities, all that. So whenever you are going to create a case, a flow got executed, flow action got executed, section got executed, controls loaded, and when you perform any action, something is being requested. You are requesting for a rule. So the rules will be driven from PRPC rule base. So every rule that is being called, suppose section is called in flow action. At runtime, when section is being called, then Pega will go to database and fetch that section from database and load into UI. Similarly, flow action is called in flow assignment shape outward connector. So at runtime, Pega will go to database and with that flow action name, one record will be available. It will fetch that record and display UI. But here the thing is, when a requester is requesting for roles, whatever the rule name that is being requested. Suppose when you execute the case type, this is the case type. Is this our application? No, right? What is our application? Bajaj. Okay. Bajaj.com password rules. Okay. Okay. So when you execute this case type, so what is being requested as part of this case type execution? A flow is being requested by name user info flow, and a flow action is being requested by name, let's say customer details flow action. From the flow action, a section is being requested, and the section name is customer details section. So just I'm taking one example, this section I'm taking. So in Pega rules process commander database, with this name, there should be a section available. That section should be retrieved and displayed in UI. So here you go. When we go to Pega rules process commander environment and database, in the database with this name, there are many rules available. So that means one section is equal to one record in the table. Which table? What is the table for sections? What is the table for sections? Rule HTML section. Rule HTML section is a table class into which the sections are going to get inserted as new records. But when we request for customer detail section with same name, there are almost 10 records available in the database. Now, out of these 10 records, which record it has to fetch and present it to the requester? That's the question. Okay. Out of the 10, which is most appropriate rule to be processed and presented to the requester? That should be decided. That should be decided before it gets presented to the requester. So for this decision making purpose, Pega is going to execute one program internally that is called as rule resolution algorithm. Rule resolution algorithm is going to find the best instance. Best instance means best rule. Best instance means best rule that can be processed and presented to the requester. So for a given requester, what rule can be processed and presented, which is the best one? Because here customer details section, 10 records are found in the database. Out of these 10, which is the best and most appropriate rule to be processed and presented to the requester when he is requesting for this customer details section by executing a case type or by any action, whatever it is. So when a requester is going to request for a rule, Pega rules process commander internally executes one program called as rule resolution algorithm, which will find out the best instance that can be processed and presented to the requester. So now the best instance, how it will be processed. So in order to find out the best instance, because we have bunch of rules with same name, so out of this bunch, almost all the rules should be filtered out except one rule. Except one rule, everything should be filtered out. So after filtering out, what is finally remaining, that is going to be a best instance. In order to filter out, it is going to take the criteria, different criteria it is going to take. The first one is rule cache. What is the first one? Rule cache. Second one is class inheritance. Okay. Third one is rule set hierarchy. And rule set hierarchy and versioning. Fourth one is circumstance. And fifth one is rule availability. Sixth one is rule or operator authorization. These are the 6 criteria that it is going to execute. Means Within rule resolution algorithm, these are the 6 conditions or something. So after filtering out the rules following these particular 6 conditions, then it is going to finally finds one best instance which is remaining, and that will be presented to the requester. So we need to individually understand all these things, and combinedly how it makes rule resolution algorithm we need to learn. So out of this, up to here you already know all these things. You already know rule, class inheritance thing concept, you know, rule set hierarchy and versioning, you know, circumstancing, you know, rule cache I will be explaining. These things I am going to explain. Okay, rule cache. See, cache memory is a concept. In generally, caching means making a frequently accessed resource or component, okay, in a different memory space which can be accessed without going to the original location. Just as an example to tell you, suppose in our laptop we have D drive. Inside D drive there is a folder Pega. Inside Pega there is a folder documents. Inside documents there is a folder theory documents, and inside theory documents folder one file is there. So regularly I am accessing that file. When I am regularly accessing that file, generally your operating system is going to add that file into quick access, so that you don't have to go to the original location. From quick access, you can directly access the file without going into so much depth into the hard disk. This is called caching concept. This is called cache memory concept. In the same manner, database also will have caching feature that we can implement as a table. So whenever a requester is requesting for rule, PRPC is going to first look at rule cache. Rule cache. Suppose with the name whatever you are requesting, if a rule is found in the cache memory, if a rule is found in the, it's not memory, it's a table, cache table, then Pega is going to pick that rule. Pega is going to pick that rule. If a rule is there in cache, means that is frequently accessed rule. Of course that should be a best instance. Of course that should be a best instance. How a rule will be kept in cache? See, for the first time when a rule is being requested, it won't be in cache, right? For the first time, Pega will execute all these steps with that rule name. It will execute all these steps. After executing, it will find best instance. That best instance it is going to put into cache. Second time onwards, obviously it will come from cache. That means whenever a request is requesting for rule, even for the first time also, Pega will verify the cache. First time means it won't be found in cache. Then it is going to execute this entire steps and filters out all the rules with the same name and type. Finally, one rule will be remaining. That rule it is going to copy into cache, so that next time onwards it can take directly from cache without executing all these steps. Okay, not all, some of these steps no need to execute. So like that, rule cache is the one where a frequently accessed rules will be available. Okay, so that you don't have to go to original place. The process commander will pick the rule from rule cache. If rule is not there in rule cache, then it has to think about remaining things. Okay, so now everyone clear about rule cache? Online students, are you clear about rule cache?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now here you go.
Yes, sir.
Next one is, yeah, next one is in the rule resolution criteria. Next criteria is class inheritance. Whenever a requester is requesting for rule, there is a possibility Pega can find bunch of rules with same name and type in the database. Imagine it is searching in the database with name customer details SCC. Total how many rules it has found? 10 rules it has found. So out of 10 rules, which one is the best instance that can be processed and presented to the requester? So for that, it will start executing these things. Class inheritance is one criteria. What Pega will do is, the requester who is requesting for role, he executed this case type. As part of case type, customer details section is being requested. It is being done from which class? It is being done from which class? It is being done from which class? Vehicle insurance class. Which class? Vehicle insurance class is the triggering point where the request is being initiated. So that will become a current class. That is called as current class. This current class is going to have parent classes. pattern parents. These are all pattern parents. And direct parents. Direct parents, you will be having framework work class, and then work dash cover dash, and then work dash, and then base class. Like this, in two ways parent classes are there. So whenever a requester is requesting for role, Pega is going to look at the class inheritance also as one criteria. It is going to look at the rule whether it is there in the current class, wherever the request is being initiated in that class with the name rule is available or not. If the rule is available in that class, definitely that is going to be picked. If rule is not there in current class, then it has to go and pick the rule from parent class. It has to look into parent class. Now two parent classes are there. One is pattern parent, another one is direct parent. Remember, pattern parents are user defined, direct parents are other application. Pattern parents are same application, direct parents are other application till OOTB. Between pattern and direct, you remember always pattern inheritance takes priority by default, because you need to understand this option. In the class inheritance, there is a checkbox, find by name first. That means, I'm sorry, find by name first. పర్వాలేదులేండి, ఓకే, వదిలేండి వదిలేండి అసలు. Find by name first pattern. That means when it comes to inheritance criteria, we are instructing the process commander, always you go by naming pattern. In the naming pattern, whatever the parent classes are there, look into those parent classes first. If those are not found in the pattern parents, then you give priority next level to direct inheritance. Next level of priority should go to direct inheritance. That is a priority. Understand clear everyone? Online students, are you clear? So this can be an interview question. Between pattern and direct inheritance, which inheritance takes priority? Which inheritance takes priority is pattern inheritance. How that is decided? Because in the class rule form, there was a checkbox by default selected, find by name first pattern. Suppose if you uncheck that checkbox, priority will go to direct inheritance, but that can never be a criteria in real world. Okay, so whenever a request is requesting for rule, PRPC is going to look at current class. If rule is not there in current class, it will try to pick the rule from pattern parents. If rule is not found anywhere in the pattern parent, then it is going to look into direct parents. So in our case, customer details is being requested from vehicle insurance, but it is not there in vehicle insurance class. And when it goes to work class, it is not there. Bajaj Auto not there, but Bajaj it is there. So it will consider to take the rule from Bajaj. In the Bajaj class, the rule again have multiple instances. How come? It may be available in different rule set. A rule can be available into rule set 1, rule set 2, rule set 2. In this rule set, Bajaj class, one rule is there. With same name in the same class, in another rule set, the rule is available. It is possible. And within the same rule set also, multiple versions of the same rule can be available. So let's say the rule customer details section is found in Bajaj class, which is having multiple versions, which is also there in multiple rule sets, Now, which one to be given priority? So here Pega will execute rule set hierarchy and versioning criteria and look into it. So rule set hierarchy means Pega will look at from which application the request has been made. Implementation application. In implementation application, what is the order of rule sets which are available? So if the rule is available in all these 4 rule sets, imagine, then the rule will be picked from first rule set only. If rule is not there in first rule set, then it look into second, not there third, not there fourth. If rule is not available in any of these 4 rule sets, then it will go to framework application rule sets. If it is not found in framework application rule set, then theme Cosmos in our case, then Pega rules process commander rule sets. If rule is there in OOTB rule sets as well as our rule sets, always Pega will pick the rules from our rule set. So this is called rule set hierarchy. So another criteria, if the rule is available in multiple rule sets with the same name in our application itself, then it is going to consider the rule set hierarchy that is mentioned in the application rule form. It will always give priority to first rule set rule to be picked, instead of the second one. If it is not there in first one, go to second one. Not there in second one, go to third one. Like that, this is called rule set hierarchy. Every one of you clear, online students? This point, are you clear?
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
suppose rule is found in first rule sets itself. Imagine rule is found here. Okay, it is obviously going to take from here. But when the rule is found here, again the rule has multiple instances, being it available in multiple versions. Let's say we have 4 versions. All 4 versions customer detail section is there. Then which one will be taken? You can tell me this. You know this already. Yeah, highest version. It's not latest version, it's the highest version. So Pega is going to take it from highest version, will be given priority. So is there any possibility within one version the rule could be available 2 times? Is there any possibility within one version the rule could be available 2 times? Is there any such possibility? Yes, there
No,
is
sir.
No, sir.
possibility. There is possibility. How come? By circumstance. A rule can be saved as and created 31 times, okay, in same version with same name, but by adding different circumstance conditions. So now after finding from the highest version or whatever the rule is available in which version, the highest version or before whatever it is, after finding out that again in one version there can be multiple instances. Now Pega is going to look at, so in one version multiple instances of the same rule are available means circumstancing. Then it will start executing circumstance conditions. If condition met, circumstance instance will be the best instance. If condition is not met, base instance will be best instance. Suppose circumstancing itself is not there, after highest version only one is there means that one will be picked. Understand clear everyone? That's how circumstance is also one criteria in rule resolution algorithm. After circumstance, rule availability. Rule availability. So not only the criteria so far which we talked, Pega is going to consider to look at rule availability as well. See, rule is available in version 1, version 2, version 3, version 4. Generally, which version will be picked? Fourth version will be picked. Generally, if it is the case of 1 to 4 rule is there, fourth version will be picked. But before picking from fourth version, Pega is also going to take into consideration of rule availability. The rule is available or not available or not. So in the rule availability, there are 5 different options. Where is this rule availability? Let me tell you. Look at here now. Beside the rule label, there is one option called available. There is one option called available. If you click on available option, it is selected actually by default. Availability, you can see 5 options are there. Availability, available, not available, blocked, final, withdrawn. Like this, we have how many options? 5 options are there. Out of these 5, one of the options should be selected by developer. Okay. If you do not think about it, by default, always the option is available. This option also tells the process commander whether the rule to be processed or not ignored. Okay, look at here now. Imagine that customer details section is there in version 01 to 04 till 4 versions it is there within 4 versions. See, Pega always starts picking the rule from highest version only. That means whenever customer details section is requested, Pega is going to look at all 4 versions, out of which it will bother about 4th version. And then it will verify the availability option what is selected on 4th version, highest version. So always availability deals and starts from highest version. If the highest version availability is available, okay, then it is allowed for processing. Allow processing means what? Process commander is going to allow it for processing. It is okay, but this rule can be processed. Thus this rule can be processed. Then what about this one? Allow processing. I think this one is prevent processing. processing. Understand clear, everyone? So if rule availability is available, then it is allowed for processing. Then if the rule availability is, so suppose highest version availability is final. Here you go, here you have final option. You can choose final. If the rule availability of a rule is final, still that rule also available for processing. That rule also available. So if the rule availability of a rule is either available or final, in both of these options, definitely Pega is going to consider to pick that rule and present it to the requester, process and present to the requester. Then what is the difference between these two? Availability, available, and final. What is the difference between these two options? Okay, let me explain you. See, the difference comes into picture in case of save as. See, generally, if you go to OOTB rules, for example, let's take one OOTB rule. Any OOTB rule or any rule that is there in some rule set. Let me take one Pega rule set rule. Okay, this rule I am taking. I want to modify the rule. I want to modify this rule. So I do not want the steps provided by here. Maybe I want to add some more steps, that is as per my requirement. As per my requirement, there is a rule that is already available in Pega, is okay for me, but I want to modify this definition of rule somewhat so that it fits my requirement. So it is there in the Pega rule set. It is there in Pega rules process command related OOTB rule set, OOTB class. I can bring this into my rule set. I can bring this into my application rule set and create and open. Now, if the rule is there in your application rule set and Pega rules process command rule set, which one will be picked? Our application rule set. So I can add more number of steps here and then save. In my application, if I call send email notification, my application rule set related send email notification only will be picked, where 3 steps will get executed. Here the point is, am I able to save as the rule into my application rule set from another rule set? From another rule set, I am able to save as the rule into my rule set for customization purpose. For customization purpose, yes or no? Able to save or not? Okay. Now, in the same way, for any requirement, if the rule is available OOTB which you want to customize, you have to save as the rule from that particular rule set to your application rule set. When a rule is there in both rule sets, your application rule set rule will be picked. Now let me tell you, operator profile. This is operator rule form. In the operator rule form, Pega is asking to add one more text input field here. One more text input field at this place. One text input field additionally, they want you to add. Customize the OOTB screen. So you should never change the name of the screen. So let's find out by live UI. Let's go by live UI. And here the rule form is general. The section name is what? General. If you open a section by name general, you can see here, this is what we are looking for. We want to customize to add one more text input here at the bottom. But it is there in OOTB rule set. So if I want to customize this, what should I do? I have to save as this into my application rule set. Should I change the name? I should not change the name because it is already called in many places. At the calling places, the modified rule should be reflected. Now create and open. If you do create and open, it is not allowing. It is not allowing. It says that this instance conflicts with final record. So because this instance is a final record, you can see rule availability is final. A final rule cannot be customized by developers by saving into another rule set. Not possible. It is not possible. So what type of, when would you go and choose final option for a rule? I will tell you one example. Just imagine there is a framework work class. In the framework work class, one payment gateway screen is created with options credit card, debit card, net banking, okay, UPI transfer, like that. 4 options are there. Business wants this particular payment gateway screen to be accessible to 2 implementation work classes which are child classes. So whenever you want payment gateway screen, you will call payment gateway screen. Current class it will not be available. It will take from parent work class, framework work class. In the same way, any other implementations, you are keep on adding multiple implementations, all implementations will be accessing the same payment gateway screen accessible from framework application, work class and rule sets. Framework application rule set. It will be loaded into implementation application. Suppose while giving you business requirement, business has told you that this particular rule should not be customized by any implementations. Suppose out of 3 implementation, one implementation wants additional option in the payment gateway screen. They have to go to framework team. The modification should be done only when the framework. It should not be allowed to be copied and modified in the implementation. As per the requirement, that's what you need to do. You should never allow this payment gateway screen which is in framework rule sets to be copied into implementations for specific customization. You should never allow that. How can you achieve this? This can be achieved by making the availability as final. At the time of creating payment gateway screen in the framework rule sets, you need to choose the option of availability as final and save. So that if any implementation wants customization, they will come to framework team. Modification must be done only in the framework rule set, but not in another rule set. So the difference between availability, available and final, these options are, if a rule is available or final, it will be allowed for processing, no doubt about it. But difference comes into picture when, if the rule is available, it can be customized by copying the rule into another rule sets with the same name. Okay. But if the rule availability is final, the rule cannot be customized by copying into another rule sets. Understand clear, every one of you? Are you clear? Everyone.
Yes, sir.
Okay, from one rule set to another rule set, you are not allowed to take it. Next rule availability is not available. What is it? Not available. Suppose the rule availability of a rule, if you have chosen as not available, in how many versions the rule is there? The rule is there in version 1, 2, 3, 4. Fourth version I am talking about. Always rule availability I am going to talk with respect to highest version, because Pega when picking always it look at highest version. If the highest version is being made as not available, Pega is going to ignore that particular version instance. Remaining 3 versions it is there, right? Within remaining 3, which one is highest version? Third version. So Pega will pick from the previous highest version if it is there in the previous, any highest version of previous. Understand clear, everyone? If the rule availability of a rule is not available, you are going to, sorry, Pega is going to ignore that highest version not available rule. It will pick the next available lower versions in the same class, Okay, understand? Imagine this rule is there in 4 versions. Also, it is there in work class. It is there in work class. Work class, it is there in 4 versions. And also the same rule is available in 4 versions in division class. In which class? Division class. The same rule is there available in 4 versions in organization class. In organization class, the rule is there within 4 versions. Division class, the rule is there. These are all pattern parents. These are all pattern parents. Now, out of which the work class 4th version I made not available, then PRPC ignores this 4th version, picks the rule from the previous version within the same class, because within the same class 1, 2, 3 are available, 3 will be picked. If 3 also not available, 2 will be picked. If 2 also not available, obviously 1 will be picked. If 1 also not available, then it will go to pattern parent, and there it will again proceed with the hierarchy, rule set version numbering. Okay, understand clear, everyone? If the rule availability of a rule is not available, highest version is not available, PRPC only ignores that version in the current class, picks the previous version from the same class. Okay. Next one is withdrawn. So if the rule availability, if the highest version of the rule, its availability is being made as withdrawn, then Pega is going to ignore the highest version and all the previous version. Imagine here version 1, 2, 3 are available. Fourth is withdrawn. So withdraw is going to impact the class level. You are withdrawing from that class itself. That's how Pega will treat. So that means not only the fourth version will be ignored, but also previous all versions in the class will be ignored. It will directly go to parent class to take the rule from. Understand clear everyone? Suppose you have a rule which is there in parent class and implementation. From the parent class, we saved as and customized in one implementation class. Okay, that's what we did. Okay, now business is asking, we do not want this implementation rule to be picked further in the production. Only parent class it should be picked from going forward after next release. What you can do, you cannot delete the rule in the production server. So you will create a rule in the next version in the development, make it withdraw and move it to production. Now production server has multiple versions available. Finally, highest version is not available in that class. So Pega at runtime will ignore the entire class related versions, will pick the rule from parent class. Understand clear? In such scenario, we can go ahead with withdraw. Next one, blocked. Rule availability, blocked. If the highest version of a rule is blocked, PRPC ignores everything in Pega. That means PRPC completely stops processing that rule. Blocking means completely stop and throws an error message in the rule resolution algorithm execution. Understand clear everyone? So these rule availabilities can be questioned during the interviews. They can ask you what is the difference between rule availability, not available and withdraw. Not available, if the highest version is not available, PRPC ignores only that version in the class. It proceeds to pick the previous version from the same class. If the rule availability of highest version is not available, PRPC not only ignores the highest version from that class, but also all other versions and picks the rule from parent class. Understand clear? Rule availability available, final, blocked, everything they will ask you. If they ask you rule deletion, you have to explain all of these things, whatever we have learned. So after availability is verified, okay, availability is verified, everything okay. After availability is verified, okay, we have one instance found. Finally, Pega will verify for the operator authorization. First of all, this guy, finally this guy is authorized to access the rule or not. Authority is there for you or not there. That is also another criteria. How authorization will be verified? See, for rule authorization, you need to understand one thing. That is, see, rule authorization. In the rule authorization concept, see, a rule will be available. A rule will be available in rule set. Yes or no? Rule set is being called from application. Application is being called from access group. Access group is there for operator. So operator, right? So now an operator is reverse. Come, okay. Actually, direction is operator. Operator will have access group. Access group will have application. Application will have rule set. Rule set will be having rules. Now at runtime it is going to be reversed, because at runtime you are not you are requesting for rule. From the rule, Pega will look at its rule set. What rule set this rule belongs to. From the rule set, Pega will look at what application this rule set belongs to. So this rule set, this application belongs to which access group? It has some access group, no? So whenever an operator is going to log into PRPC and request for a rule, what Pega will do in order to find out the authorization of operator is, Pega will make a note of the requester's access group. The requester who has requested for the rule, his access group is A. His access group is A. Now it is going to keep that in mind, and then it will start executing this. From the rule requested, it will verify this rule belongs to which rule set. So every rule in its rule form, it's belong to one rule set, no? From the rule set, it will go and check this rule set is being called from which application. And from the application, it will go and check this application belongs to which access group. Now it got one access group, right? At the time of requester requesting, it has noted down the access group of the operator. The access group of the operator who has requested and the access group it has got by traversing in this direction, it both will be verified. Both will be verified. Understand clear everyone? Operator who has requested, his access group, is it same as The access group that I found during the tracking of rule to rule set to application, application to access group. Both access groups are matching, then operator is authorized to access the rule, otherwise not authorized. Understand clear everyone? Online students, are you clear? Look at here now. I am an operator. I have logged into PRPC, customer details section. So customer details section I am requesting now. Requesting to open it in a design studio. Now when I open it, it is opened successfully because my access group is something Bajaj Auto Authors, and this rule is there in rule set Bajaj. Bajaj is there in Bajaj Auto rule set application. Bajaj rule set is there in Bajaj Auto application. Bajaj Auto application is there in Bajaj Auto access group, authors access group. So that access group is there for me. So it is allowed. Suppose if I try to access another rule, Sun application, it is not allowed. Why? I am not authorized. Why? My access group is Bajaj Auto. When this customer details section from Sun application, when I am trying to access, the rule set there is Sun rule set. Sun rule set has Sun application. Sun application has access group, Sun access group. My access group is Bajaj access group. Both are not matching. I am not authorized. I am not right. That's how Pega is going to decide your authorization. This is called rule authorization or operators authorized. So all these criteria will be executed to find the best instance that can be processed and presented to the requester. Now I will tell you in a proper order how the rule resolution algorithm will be executed. Every one of you do understand it independently. Class inheritance, how the criteria will be, rule set version, circumstance, okay, rule availability, all that. So now I'm going to take rule resolution diagram. So this is rule resolution diagram. Look at here. So whatever I told you now so far, the same will be available here in a proper order. Let me go and show you. Why it is not opening? Just hold on a minute. Okay, it is being opened. Now you see, these are the 10 steps that are involved in rule resolution algorithm. Total, how many steps are there? See, whenever a requester is requesting for rule, Pega is going to first to verify whether the rule is there in rule cache. Rule is there in rule cache. If rule is found in the rule cache, it is found in rule cache, then PRPC is going to pick the rule from cache and go to 7th step. Go where? Directly 7th step. It picks the rule from cache. Cache, if the rule is there in cache, means it has already undergone the rule resolution algorithm filtering criteria. It has already undergone rule resolution algorithm filtering criteria. So it will pick the rule from rule cache. Then it is going to verify. After picking from the cache, it will verify whether it is blocked or not, because blocked rules will be picked but stopped during the processing by throwing the error. Understand? So it will verify whether it is blocked or not. If the rule is not blocked, then finally it will verify whether the operator is authorized to access the rule or not. If operator is authorized to access the rule, I told you how authorization will happen. Then it will process and present the rule to the requester. Understand clear everyone? This is one approach. If the rule is there in the cache, if the rule is found in the cache, that is what going to happen. Whenever a requester is requesting for rule, PRPC is going to first look at rule cache. The rule may be there in the rule cache or may not be there in the rule cache. Imagine if the rule is there in rule cache, PRPC is going to pick the rule from rule cache, verifies that rule is blocked or not, verifies operator is authorized or not authorized, and accordingly it will process and present the rule to the request. Understand clear everyone? Online students, are you clear with this criteria? Remaining, I'll tell you now.
Yes, sir.
Next. If the rule is not found in the rule cache, let's say rule is not there in rule cache, then Pega is going to check the database. If rule is with the same name, rule is there in cache, means cache will have only one rule. If rule is not there in cache, means it will go to database. In database with that name, it can find bunch of rules. So it will collect all the rules with matching name and type and then it starts filtering. Then it filters out the rules which are not available, which are not in the applicable class inheritance hierarchy. Means data classes are not in the inheritance. Ignore if there is a rule in data class, because that will not be considered. Ignore there is a rule in other application classes. Ignore. Only our application, current class to parent classes, direct parent classes, all this bunch will be remaining. Other application classes will be gone. And again, it will ignore the rules which are withdrawn and which are not in the applicable rule set hierarchy. Only our application rule sets rules and which are not withdrawn will be finally remaining. Then it is going to rank the rule by class inheritance, rule set hierarchy, and circumstance. Once it has the rule, multiple instances of the rule within our application classes, our application rule sets and versions, it will start ranking the rule. That is, what is the inheritance criteria, what is the rule set hierarchy, what is the versioning, what is circumstancing. So in this criteria, it will rank and finds one best instance. So current application, current class, first rule set, usual priority, highest version. In that circumstance condition is met, circumstance version, otherwise base version. That is going to be the best instance. Once the best instance is found, Pega will not process. Pega will never process a rule directly taking from database. It will always process the rule taking from rule cache. So once it finds the best instance, it is going to put that rule in the rule cache. Then again it picks the rule from rule cache, and then it is going to verify it is blocked or not. After it is not blocked, it will verify operator is authorized to access the rule or not. If operator is authorized to access the rule, then it will process and present the rule to the requester. So if they ask you in interviews about explain about rule resolution algorithm, how Pega is going to find out the best instance with matching name and type out of n number of rules in database, please explain. Then that means rule resolution algorithm you need to explain. In the rule resolution algorithm, whenever a requester is requesting for rule, PRPC is going to look at the rule cache. So rule may be there in rule cache or may not be there in rule cache. If rule is found in rule cache, Pega is going to pick the rule from rule cache and then verify whether it is blocked or not. If not blocked, then again verify with the operator is authorized to access the rule or not. If operator is authorized to access the rule, then it will process and present the rule to the operator. Suppose if rule is not there in rule cache, then Pega is going to pick all the rules with matching name and type. Then it starts filtering the rule. It is going to ignore the rules which are not available and not in the applicable class inheritance hierarchy. And also it is going to ignore the rules which are withdrawn, which are not in the applicable rule set hierarchy. Then it ranks the rule by class inheritance, rule set hierarchy, versioning, circumstancing. Then it is going to find out one best instance out of all these from the current class, current application, and circumstancing condition met or base rule. Like that, once it finds the best instance, it is going to copy that best instance into rule cache and picks the rule from rule cache and verifies whether the rule is blocked or not and operator is authorized to access the rule or not, then process the rule and present the rule to the requester. So that is what going to happen internally in Pega for every rule that you are requesting for. Understand clear everyone? Online students, are you clear?
Yeah, Harsha, like I have one
Yes, sir.
question. Like, where does the rule cache getting stored or like?
Rule cache is a table. Cache table contains the rules which you are accessing from the database of one best instance only. Rule cache table. See, if it goes to directly section table, customer details section 10 records it will get. If it go to rule cache table first, customer details section only one record it will get. So out of 10 it has to filter. Here one, that is the best instance. It will directly process it, right? That's what.